Let's now move on to some brass tacks, some is that the term? Some like the real hard things that you need to know to get into a data career. You have this analogy, every turtle swims past, ETSP, which stands for Excel, Tableau, SQL, and Python. And so that's your recommended strategic learning ladders, going in that order from Excel to Tableau to SQL to Python. Every turtle swims past. Do you want to tell us more about this sequence and why it's so important for beginners?
Yeah, I created the data learning ladder because, a lot of the times people will ask, well, I want to be, a data analyst, or I want to get into data. Like, where do I start? What tools should I start with? And I think for me, I kind of, I don't want to say I did it backwards. I feel like I did it like very roundabout in a crazy way. And I think everyone's journey will probably be kind of messy, but like I started doing data in MATLAB because that's what I kind of knew and that's what I had access to. And then I got kind of into Python, and then I went back to Excel, and then I learned SQL pretty late in my data career. So I think every journey is different, but when you're just getting started, my whole philosophy is, we already talked about it. Like, data is hard and it's constantly changing. There's so much to learn and you'll never learn it all. And so my whole philosophy is, let's get you into a data job as quickly as possible. Like, let's get your foot in the door as soon as possible, because the best learning that happens is on the job learning. That's just like the stuff that's the most relevant and the most useful, and you're getting paid to learn at that point instead of like paying to learn. So my whole philosophy is like, get your foot in the door as quickly as possible. And then in terms of like, okay, well, how do we get your foot in the door as quickly as possible? Well, you need to focus on the skills that are in demand first off, but then also easy. Like, the difficulty plays a role. So for example, let's say, I'll try to use a real example, like Python. Python's super in demand for data roles, but it's also, if you've never programmed a day in your life before, it has a steep learning curve. So that's why it's fourth in the data learning ladder, because Excel is in demand quite a bit, especially for like a data analytics role. And it's actually pretty easy. Like, most people have used Excel one way or another in their career. So that's why I think you should start with Excel. It's because most people have already used it and it's not really that hard to learn. And then moving to Tableau is a little less in demand than Excel, but it's also pretty easy to learn. It's just drag and drop. There's no coding. You don't have to worry about the difference between a for loop and a while loop. And then you get into SQL, because SQL is probably the most in-demand data tool that there is. But it is a programming language, but it's definitely easier than Python when you're just starting out. And then lastly, Python, because it is quite in demand, but it's a lot to learn. So my whole philosophy is on this like quadrant of how in demand is a skill and how easy is it to learn. And you want to start with the ones that are in demand and easy to learn, and then work your way up from there.
What's your take on people using LLMs like Claude or their ChatGPT experience, maybe Cursor for programming, to help people out with learning as well as coding? I mean, this is kind of, it's a new world that we're in now, where for me personally, I seldom am starting to write character by character code ever anymore. It seems kind of like a waste of time, but there's maybe also some things to learn from doing it that way. What are your recommendations for people around using LLMs to help them?
AI is definitely changing. I like you, when I go to code now, I'm rarely starting from scratch. Like, I think, AI can get me usually like 60, maybe 70% of the way there. But there is going to be a lot of times where AI is going to be wrong. And if you don't know how to program, you're not going to know where it's wrong a lot of the time. So I definitely think it's worth learning stuff like that. But I think it's a great tool that people should use. I think people look at it incorrectly and think that it's going to replace people. I don't think it's going to replace, professionals. I think it just enables professionals to work smarter. I see it more as a tool versus actually replacing you. And so I think, why not start now with trying to figure out how to use it and how to best leverage it? Because it's going to be part of our lives in the future, one way or another.
What's your favorite LLM for coding with?
What's crazy is, for coding with, I guess if you add that, maybe that takes things off.
You can answer both, or
I think Claude is really good for coding, but yeah. I feel like ChatGPT recently has gotten so much better Especially and with the image generation that just came out last month, that's been super fun to play around with. So a lot of the times I'm just like a ChatGPT boy, just kind of basic. What about you?
I use Claude for most day-to-day tasks, including coding for the most part, and kind of easy when I want stream of consciousness, immediate results. And I actually most of my LLM use is text to text. So I'm inputting text and getting text out. That is, 95% of my usage of these tools comes that way. So absolutely agree with you. Things like ChatGPT for image generation, video generation, they are ahead of the game. But for the most part, I'm doing text to text and Claude. I love it. I don't. It's hard for me to explain. I've loved Claude for over a year and have been paying for a subscription to Claude for over a year to their $20 a month in the US tier. And yeah, I always feel like it's intuitively what I was looking for. And I like the interface. It's a bit more playful, a bit more relaxing, a bit less serious. I don't know. I just really, really love Claude. But I also pay $200 a month for deep research from OpenAI because that is extraordinary.
It's
When I
really
need,
good.
it's really, really good. When you have a more complex question, you want an agent to crawl the web, dig up answers, on up-to-date information and provide you with a thorough report. I've never noticed a mistake. It is because it's instead of just stream of consciousness outputting tokens immediately, it's reflecting on its progress and so it's constantly iterating on its outputs and on its chain of thought. And so you end up with beautiful, super helpful reports. And it's $200 a month, but I'm easily saving thousands of dollars of my time.
It's really good. I tried it out, and yeah, it's kind of insane. Just the other thing I love about the deep research from ChatGPT as well. I mean, I think most of them do that now, but the sources are really good as well. Like they have
Mhm.
like the footnote sources, and so it's like if I want to go read more about some specific part, the deep research like is like, hey, if you want to go learn more about this, like here's 5 links that talk about this, and that just saves like a lot of Googling and a lot of me like having to skim through and try to figure out is this relevant or not. So I agree. It's really good.